Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Dramaturgy Podcast. I am actually very excited for this episode because in this episode I am covering a drama that I am currently really enjoying, titled The Story of Kunning Palace. This is a drama that has basically snatched all my time. Right, this is all I think about now. As of the time I was recording, I have watched 28 of the 38 episodes, and the drama is basically reaching its end, and honestly this drama has kept me captivated throughout the whole time. Like, it's just that good, right? And so I was like, you know what, this deserves its own review, right? Anything that's taking this much out of my time, like, I have to do a review about it. So apparently, I didn't know this, but this drama had been filmed a while back, right? It's been filmed, I guess years ago, and it's just been released. I'm very glad I don't keep up with Chinese entertainment news, because if I had known that this drama was just sitting on a shelf somewhere and was not being released, I think I would have gone crazy. And so for me, I actually knew nothing about it when it aired. That was the first time I was hearing about it. So like, I was lucky in that sense that I can imagine those people that knew about this like way in advance. It must have been terrible. It must have been a lot of stress, just like wondering when this drama is going to like drop. But moving on, to give a quick synopsis of this drama, basically it's telling the story of the empress of this fictitious dynasty who gets a do-over of her life, right? Dating back to before she became empress, right? So she gets to relive her life and make new decisions, because in her first life, her fight to be empress really, like, she really ruined a lot of people along the way, right? And she, betrayed a lot of people, and she was generally just not a good person. And so, karma caught up to her at some point and she ended up dead. But thankfully she got reborn, and then, in her second life, she kind of understands now what is important and what she should protect. And so really a big portion of this is just making sure that a lot of the things that happen in her first life doesn't repeat, because a lot of people have like terrible ending in her first life, and so she's basically trying to protect against that in the second life. And so she's a completely different person, right, and is working towards a more altruistic goal in her second life, which is great, right? Apparently, the Story of Kunning Palace is based on a book, right? I have not read it. I've heard it's a lot darker, like with SA involved, and so I can see why this drama is the way it is, right? In the sense that it's very toned down, right? If SA is involved, there's no way this drama would have aired, right? Like, there's no way like it would have passed censorship. So they've toned down a lot of things. They removed the essay, the fact that she's technically reborn too has also been removed, in the sense that in the beginning, like the first few episodes, they show her as making a narration of a book. So she's basically writing this story, right? So the Story of Kunning Palace is a story written by an author, right? And so that's, I guess, how they pass censorship. It's very funny because like everybody knows what is going on, but somehow this passes censorship, and I don't know, it's just so weird. But anyway, before we start with this review, I am going to, say something to get something off my chest, because this is something I struggle with people, right? I have this issue with people in the sense that they don't know what the rebirth trope is, right? And so they confuse it with other tropes. The rebirth trope is one of my favorite tropes. So I know this intimately because I have read novels, I have, seen dramas that fit exactly this trope, right? To give you a definition and an understanding of what the rebirth trope is that this drama is playing with, you have to understand that it is not to be confused with transmigration and past lives. Past lives is one thing that I would say like Korean dramas do a lot. For example, the currently airing Moon in the Day does this, in the sense that you have these two characters that existed in the Joseon dynasty, and then they are reborn into the modern day. This is an example of a past life. It is not a rebirth in the actual sense of it, right? The rebirth trope has one essential factor. They are getting a do-over of their exact same life, right? The exact same period where they just ended, right? So it's the exact same life they are getting a do-over of, not that they were reincarnations of certain people in the past life, right? So to give you an example or examples of this is like Sense of Time, right? Sense of Time has this exactly. And Again My Life. These three dramas I would say are a good example of that like rebirth trope being used, right? And in fact, I was like trying to come up with more examples, and I was like, I realized this is actually not as common as you would think. Past lives is very, very common. You've seen tons and tons of dramas that, people that were existing in a certain period of time get reborn in like the modern time or a later time, right? It's very common to have that, whereas rebirth stories aren't actually as common. And perhaps that's probably why it's one of my favorite tropes. It's just not one I see as often. I mean, it's just in the past like 2 years or so that we've gotten all these dramas I mentioned, right? Just not something that is as common, right? So that's something I just want to mention first before we start, that this is an example of the rebirth trope, right? And like it's just one that I really, really like. The idea that like you can learn from your mistakes and do things over, knowing that you've made certain mistakes and can correct those things it's amazing. And so I really, really like that. But yeah, moving on, I feel the need to talk about the cast because I know and recognize a lot of people from this. So obviously the very first person on the list is Bai Lu, playing Ninger. And honestly I have to say that Bai Lu is very, very popular. But for me, there's only one drama that I can be like, two dramas, right? That I can be like, okay, I recognize her in that and I really liked her in that. The first one is One and Only. One and Only is one of the few tragedy dramas that I like, right? And the other one is Arsenal Military Academy. That was also a really, really good like drama that she was in with Shukai. So those are the two dramas I would say Bai Lu, for me, like she's just like fantastic in those, and those are the ones I know her from. I will say she has a current drama also airing called Only for Love. Apparently I tried watching it, honestly it wasn't that good. It's the one with Dilin Wang, and I just can't watch it. It's just not catching my attention. It's very boring. So she does have that going on, but thankfully she also has Kunning Palace, so she's able to kind of balance the fact that one isn't as popular if it did not have Dilin Wang and her in it, right? So yeah, Bai Lu is the first person in this. Then you have Jiang Lin who is playing Xie Wei, and honestly okay, we'll talk about that later, but just to say that he was in My Journey to You, and terrible. Like his character in that was just so awful. That was one of the issues a lot of people had about that drama. It was just so bad, and I honestly I was one of those people that I also felt that like it was overshadowed by his cousins in that drama, right? The other Gong brothers. So yeah, I could not finish that drama. Thankfully this drama has been doing so well and he's so different in this. So yeah, that's the second person that's building this. Then you have Wang Xingyue, who is playing Zhang Zhe. And guys, for those who know, and if you just check back to like my previous like reviews on this like podcast, you'll see that I cover Sense of Time. And again, Sense of Time is another drama that again I mentioned that it is also has that rebirth trope. And honestly, I am entranced by this guy. He has won me over. I don't know how. Like it's funny because like the mini Sense of Time, a rebirth drama finished airing. Kunning Palace also aired, which is another rebirth drama. And it's funny how different is like characters are in those two dramas, right? But yeah, Wang Xingyue is playing Zhang Zhe. He was also in One and Only, but honestly I didn't really notice him in that because Alin Ren was in that drama and I was in my Alin Ren like era, at that time. So I couldn't see anybody but him, right? So this is, I guess, the second drama with Bai Lu, or maybe there's more, I wouldn't know, but I remember him being the king in One and Only, the one, the awful king. So yeah, I am looking forward to his future works because obviously like he's very young, but he knows how to act, right? So the other person that's in this, you have Jun Wei as Yan Lin and Liu Shening as the Princess Shen. These two, I don't really know much about them and I don't have much to say about them in that sense. So, that's really it for the cast. All good, all great. Like I like the cast. They are very well casted. So moving on, let's talk about why I love this drama. I would say that I want to talk about why I dislike it as well, but there's nothing I dislike. I love everything. I've never skipped 1 second of this drama. That's how good it is, right? So likes only in this house, right? Anything that's a dislike, it's not a dislike enough for me to make a comment about it, right? I know some people have like dislike about like the lighting and stuff like that, like the director's use of lighting, but honestly I didn't even notice because the story is like what is pulling me through, right? The story is just too good. So likes only. First thing I like about this drama, I love the female lead. Jiang Xue Ning is a female lead that has basically the knowledge of her past life, right? But yet she makes mistakes, right? And in the sense that like I like the fact that she is not too OP. So what OP means is that overpowered. That means that like she's just unstoppable, right? Like she just knows everything. She has like a third eye or something, like, and that is one of the worst ways you can write a character, right? But at the same time, Jiang Xue Ning is not too stupid, right? She's just in that perfect spot right in the middle that like she knows enough that she can kind of advert or subvert some things, right? But at the same time she's not too smart that like it makes the story boring. So that's one thing I like about this. It makes it like gives you some tension, some suspense, right? She doesn't know everything. The mystery about the rebels and things like that is still a mystery to her in the second life because she never actually found out why and how they were able to kind of take over, right, the kingdom. So that's something I really like about this drama, right? The female lead is just perfectly written, that she makes mistakes and you can kind of censure her that like you should know better, but at the same time she's not too dumb. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I'll say probably the biggest thing, is Xie Wei. His existence makes this drama like 20 times better than it probably should be. Like it's so good. Like he's so well written. Like I like how smart he is. I like how devious and scheming he is. Like I like characters that are grey, right? If a character is too nice, I'm bored. Right? So in this drama, like his character is, I would say, quite similar to the character of Lin Yi in Love Like the Galaxy. In fact, honestly, it's basically the same story that they're going for. If you kind of know the plot of how the story is going to end, it's basically the same story, right? But in a way that Love Like the Galaxy did not kind of satisfy my feeling of like that just climactic feeling of like the revenge. Like the revenge was good, but it just did not satisfy me as much because there was not enough intrigue shown. There was not enough like showing of the fact that Lin Yi was smart. Whereas in this, they show you that Xie Wei is smart. They don't just tell you, right? There's a lot of telling in Love Like the Galaxy. Here, there's no telling. They show you. Like, he walks towards, this deviousness. You see him be evil or be bad, right? And you see him kind of play everybody as a fiddle, right? Like, everybody is something, a chess piece, which is something Jiang Xue Ning mentions, that everybody's kind of a chess piece to him, right? And you see this in effect. You see how he's planning and plotting these things. And you see just the smart that he has. He's never ruffled, right? And honestly, I would say that his only weakness is his growing affection for Jiang Xue Ning, right? That is the only part of him that seems even relatively normal. And honestly, I love that. I just love characters like that. He reminds me kind of Lin Wang's character in Love Between Fairy and Devil, right? Like, that is another character that was like, I will burn the world for you. Like, you understand? Like, it's giving crazy, but like we like it, right? So like I just love that about this character. He's so calm, so collected, and always seems to know what to do. If there's one thing I like, it was the fact that he was kind of this big brother to Yan Lin, and Yan Lin did not like Yan Lin trusted him, but I feel like Yan Lin like had no clue that obviously this is my cousin, but Yan Lin still trusted him because I guess like he's a teacher and everything. But I like that fact that he was able to build bonds with the people that he cared about, even without them knowing. And one of my favorite scenes in this drama is actually that scene in the coming of age ceremony where you see Xie Wei's personality really come out. Like, that was the moment that I was like, oh god, this is a well-written character, it's a well thought of character. That's the scene where, so you know how like Xie Wei has a deadbeat dad, right? That Xue family patriarch, right? And is that comes with like the edict to, convict the Yans. And Yan Lin is hot-headed, right? And so he's on his knees, he's, getting his, like, I don't know, the headpiece changed. And that's when Xie Wei's dad comes in and, hands them the imperial edict. And, Yan Lin is provoked and he wants to get up and Xie Wei presses him down, right? That scene is so well done because even the way it's shot was just so good. Like, you could see just how composed, how calm, how collected he was. He knew exactly what to do, right? In a way that Jiang Xue Ning, even though she is the one that has been reborn, she kind of freaked out for a second, but like Xie Wei doesn't freak out, right? He doesn't, like, he's never not sure about what to do, and that is just chef's kiss. Like, he's just so well written in that sense, right? And that's just something I really like about this drama. He's basically the one that's making me or keeping me watching, right? Because I want to see him succeed in what he wants to do, right? I want to see him bring down his dad. I feel like the revenge is going to be so good, right? And so yeah, that's another thing I really like about this drama. Then moving on, the third thing that I really like about this drama is Xie Wei and Ning, in the sense that I just loved watching Xie Wei fall for Ning. Like, and it was slow. And this is what I actually like about this drama. It has very, very good pacing. Like, it takes time from first threatening her to reluctantly accepting that she kind of has smarts, to kind of basically like falling in love with her slowly but surely, right? They don't just make it happen instantly, right? They build up to it, right? I think for Xie Wei, he sees a loyalty to the Yans, his family basically, and he's impressed by that, right? And so, the fact that she's smart, and you guys, you have to remember that he's a feminist. He's always encouraging the women to have agency in a time where what is agency? Agency, right? You understand? So I think that seeing her be smart, seeing how she's, just so industrious, he is impressed by that, and slowly he like starts to fall in love with her, right? And starts to like want her for himself, even though at first he's kind of glad that Yan Lin has this support. I can tell slowly, like he started to like want her for himself. So that was another thing that I really, really liked about this drama. Their chemistry is so well done. I'm on episode 28. They've not had any really romantic scene yet, but I have seen clips and I am excited. Hopefully they hear all the like clips that I actually see, because censorship might change some things, but hopefully, because their chemistry is so good that like I'm like, is this the same Zhang Zhe that is in My Journey to You? Like, he is so different here that it's quite amazing. But anyway, moving on, another reason why I like this drama is actually quite minor, some people would think, but it's the lack of conflict between the sisters. I've read enough Chinese novels to see this be a problem, right? This is always an issue that I'm like, why do the sisters always have to fight? They always make the sister that is the other one, like, they just make her kind of a caricature. They do this in Till the End of the Moon. I don't remember what that other Bailu drama is, the one with Lo Yun-shi. Like, they make her sister so terrible that I'm like, this is too bad. But here they give her sister a personality, right? At first it seems like they would both be enemies, but somehow they walk to being like a live and let live situation, and soon I actually think it's going to be proper support for one another, right? And I would even say that Jiang Xue Ning's sister is more receptive to this idea of them being friends and supportive of one another than Jiang Xue Ning herself. I feel like Jiang Xue Ning is actually the issue here, in that like she has a lot of like prejudice, I would say, against her sister, right? And so that is stopping them from going further in their relationship. But they've actually come to a really good place, right? I like the fact that they talked things out. And we also even see that in the first life, her sister wasn't even all that bad. She actually gave up her position, knowing well that the king was actually in love with her. She kind of gave her sister that chance as maybe kind of a thank you for being with her mother, her actual mother, the one that swapped the two of them, right? So she's a very good portrayal of someone that would be considered like a fake member of the family. She should technically be insecure and all this, but you can tell she's just as smart. She keeps her cool just as well as Jiang Xue Ning does, right? Like, I actually can never tell what she's thinking. Her face is very like poker face, to the point where I'm actually scared for Shu, that like Shu girl that wants to be consort of the future king. Like, I actually fear that she might suffer in her hands, because she's never once lost her cool. And so, like, in that way, I just like that they keep bringing new ideas here and here that just makes this drama kind of good in that sense, right? And yeah, that was another thing I really like, just the relationship that is building between those two sisters, or where they've gotten to from where they started. Then I would say like the final thing, and this is just kind of general, is the overall story and pacing, right? There are a lot of how things are shown, right? And again, I am a show don't tell kind of person. anybody that's a writer, you've heard that like phrase before, like show don't tell, right? Because when you tell things, it doesn't show you really, it's just pretense, right? It's exposition, right? In this drama, they show you, right? Xie Wei is basically the devil. They show you see him like kill a guy in cold blood, you see him plan all these things and use people like pawns, like they show you all those things, right? And by now I'm on episode 28, like I said, you can kind of already deduce who everybody is. You can deduce who Xie Wei really is. The way they've planned it slowly, you can kind of see how like the story like started and how it's going and stuff like that. And it's interesting because everybody knows at this point who Xie Wei is, except Jiang Xue Ning. And when I mean everybody, I mean the audience already knows who Xie Wei is. But Jiang Xue Ning is to kind of figuring things out, right? And that kind of keeps kind of a little suspense that at the end of the day, even though we know, not everybody does know, right? And so in a way, they've paced things well. She's getting clues to kind of figure out what is going on. Why is Xie Wei the one that was with Yan Lin when the rebels came in her first life, right? So in that way, this drama is very good. Like in the way the story is moving along, it is not slow in any way. It is just so well done. We've also gotten to the point where Zhang Zhe's arc with Ninger has kind of ended, right? And so from now on, it's only Xie Wei, and I am excited. Like I am so excited, right? I will say another thing that's kind of funny to me in this drama is how whipped the emperor is for Xie Wei. It's like they show that multiple times that I'm like, this is worth noting because I like how he just listens to Xie Wei in everything and like just trusts him so much. And maybe it makes sense in an intrinsic level that maybe the emperor doesn't even know, because if you think about the fact that they were playmates when they were younger, that kind of makes you understand why it's possible that the emperor just instinctively trusts Xie Wei, right? And so that was something I really like. I like how his face just lights up when Xie Wei comes into the room, right? It's just very one side note that it's just really good. And I really like the emperor. Like I like when people are just well written. No one is a caricature in this, right? Everybody's so well written. The emperor is sick and everything, but he's not stupid, right? And he's also trying to balance power in the best way he can, right? He sees people as threat, which makes sense, right? It's a shame that the biggest threat is Xie Wei and he doesn't see that, but in a way, actually, Xie Wei is not that much of a threat to him. Xie Wei is just looking to do one thing: take out the Xue family, which, I mean, there's a conflict of interest in the fact that for the emperor, that's his mom, right? So in a sense, yes, there's that conflict, but he's not trying to go against the emperor's power, right? So yeah, anyways, that's another thing I really liked. But yeah, generally the overall story, the overall pacing is just well done. I've been really lucky. I don't know, Sense of Time was also fantastic like this. The overall pacing was also really, really good. Here too, just so good, right? So again, no dislikes in this, just general adoration for this. I really, really want more of these kinds of stories, just rebirth stories, right? Rebirth stories are just so well done. I have yet to see a bad one. And so I hope that with the success of this drama, more stories like this will be told, because honestly, it's just such a good concept. The idea that we can go back and redo things, right? Who wouldn't? Who would not want to go back? I would probably go back and like buy Bitcoin or something, or buy Amazon stocks. Oh wait, I wouldn't be able to buy Amazon stocks. I'd be too young. I think I'd just be born or something. But anyways, you get the idea, right? So that's really it for my review of the Story of Kunning Palace. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will see you again next week. Have a nice day. Bye bye.